It's the morning after primary election day in Texas. Winners are declared. Some races are headed to runoffs, and the road to November is officially underway. Results are being updated as we speak. So let's start with the biggest race in Bexar County, that of the Bexar County Judge.
News 4 was the first station to bring you the results live as we watch the winner as be announced as former Mayor Ron Nierenberg. He easily edged out incumbent Peter Sakai.
Here are the final results. Former Mayor of San Antonio called his victory early in the evening. News 4 San Antonio's Taylor Whartonby was at Nierenberg's watch party and has more.
Good morning. Ron Nierenberg declared a victory in the race for Bexar County Judge. Now, it all happened very quickly around 8:30 on Tuesday. Now, Ron Nierenberg went to the stage, and the first thing that he did was thank Peter Sakai for his service in the community. Nierenberg also FaceTimed his son, who is in Japan, to celebrate with him and his family. He also addressed the crowd and let them know that their voices were heard.
Today, we have taken a massive step towards making that promise a reality. We didn't just win a primary. We committed to fixing a broken justice system. We resolved that everyone should have access to quality health care, regardless of their zip code.
Now, Nierenberg's message: let's keep rising together and get right down to work. From north of downtown, I'm Taylor Whartonby.
Back to another huge race we're covering this morning, the race for the U.S. Senate. This race saw nearly $130 million in advertising as Republicans John Cornyn and Ken Paxton battled for a Senate seat.
This race will be headed to a runoff in May. So here are those results. 42% reporting for John Cornyn, and Ken Paxton following closely behind with 41%. Again, that's with 93% reporting. Let's check in with Vinny Martirano as he reports on John Cornyn's campaign.
Senator John Cornyn announced that the U.S. Republican Senate primary race is moving to a runoff and says a Ken Paxton win in the runoff would risk everything that they've worked so hard to build. An 8-candidate U.S. Republican primary race is now down to 2. Senator John Cornyn says Judgment Day is coming for Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. The 2 candidates will move forward to a runoff in May, a place Cornyn hasn't been since he ran for Attorney General. He also said Paxton would be dead weight and not only lose the Senate seat in the general election, but would bring down 5 congressional seats with him.
I refuse to allow a flawed, self-centered, and shameless candidate like Ken Paxton risk everything we've worked so hard to build.
The Senate race now heads to a 12-week runoff, something Cornyn's team expected from the jump. Cornyn did not have a watch party. His team says they're waiting for the runoff to have one of those. Before the race, Cornyn said this was likely going to be his most competitive race ever. As we move into the runoff, it's going to be Cornyn or Paxton going up against the Democratic nominee. Reporting in downtown Austin, Vinny Martirano.
We turn to the Democratic race for U.S. Senate. Here are the results. It looks like James Tallarico is expected to be the Democratic nominee. James Tallarico was Jasmine Crockett's challenger to run against either Paxton or Cornyn later this year.
Tallarico first gained national attention after his interview was pulled from The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. It drew more than 85 million views online.
Andrew Limparski is covering Tallarico this morning from Austin.
After months of campaigning in all corners of the state, James Tallarico is leading in the race to be the Democratic nominee for the U.S. Senate seat in Texas. The school teacher turned state legislator told his supporters, regardless of the outcome, this primary made history.
Tonight, the people of our state gave this country a little bit of hope.
James Tallarico is the winner of the Texas Senate Democratic nomination. He's set to face off against either John Cornyn or Ken Paxton in November's general election. Voters, of course, won't know that Republican opponent until after the May runoff. It's a rematch between 2 Republicans for District 23. Congressman Tony Gonzalez struggled the last few weeks after revelations of an alleged affair he had with his staffer, Regina Santos Avalos, who died by suicide.
Here's a look at how that race is going. 93% reporting right now. Brandon Herrera taking 43% of that vote, with Tony Gonzalez again falling closely behind with 42%. Jay Avila has more with our team coverage. He reports with how the scandal impacted the race's results.
Tony Gonzalez did not make any public appearances Tuesday night. Around 10:30, he posted to X thanking President Trump for his endorsement and the voters, saying onward to a victorious May. Gonzalez ran against challenger Brandon Herrera, whom he narrowly defeated in 2024, and two other candidates, Kiko Canseco and Keith Barton. But the race has been overshadowed by Gonzalez's relationship with a staffer, Regina Santos Aviles, who died by suicide by setting herself on fire last September. Aviles's estranged husband shared text messages, some of a sexual nature, between Gonzalez and his wife. The three-term congressman entered the night knowing even if he won the primary or a runoff, he would still face an ethics investigation in the House.
They can show up on Congress and take votes, but obviously there's kind of a cloud that hangs over them until the thing is resolved, and this kind of thing doesn't resolve itself quickly.
Gonzalez has called the allegations of an affair personal smears and untruthful rumors. For the News 4i team, I'm Jay Avila.
News 4 has you covered for the primary election. You can see results from some major races running across the bottom of your screen throughout our newscast. For the results of more than 200 races across the state, you can go online to news4sa.com.